every aspect of your life, you need to be committed to doing the most. If your goal in gym is to become really, really swole, you need sleep, man. Like, you're not going to grow without sleep. So commit to your sleep. That's not hard for a lot of people. But commit to your sleep, commit to your diet, commit to the gym, commit to every single job you're doing. Even if you don't want to do the job, commit to it. When you commit to things in life, it becomes a natural habit.
I've been feeling ways on ways of positivity all day.
Commitment is the pattern for a long-term result of growth. What I mean by that is something that you're doing constantly, every single day or every single hour or every single week or every single month, and you're paying a lot of attention to it. You could be working on it more than the results that it gives you, but you are satisfied with what you're doing with it, and you always aim to improve and perfect that result or that end goal of what you're doing.
Commitment, obviously you can talk about it in so many different aspects. You know, you got relationships, you got work, employment, business, education, all these other aspects. But you know me, I like to go deep. I like to go deep in a topic. And what I like to focus on for a brief period of time throughout our show today is a commitment that one must make to themselves. And what I mean by this is being committed to words, to your word. When you say something, you do it, you stand by it, and you follow through with actions. Because when you're committed to your word, when you're committed to a promise that you've made, whether it's to someone else or to yourself, and you stay committed to your word, that encompasses integrity and honor. Two massive sort of personality traits that they're kind of like, if you have them, you're like an ideal human being. Like, imagine someone describes you, oh, that man, he's a man of integrity and honor. Like, can you imagine if someone says that to you, you would just be like...
Commitment as a word is how hard you try to stay at something. But let's break down how you're going to do that. You've got to start right from the bottom and find out what it is I'm going to be committed to, like Mr. S.A. said, and how long you're going to do it for, like Mr. Sully said. How are you going to manage to find your goal and stay committed to it?
Your why basically provides you with all these doors that you can choose to open up and explore. And one of them is commitment. Once you have your why, you know, that gives you your fuel, yeah, to start and to go and keep going. And that's where your commitment comes into play.
Would you say it's the number one thing you need straight after commitment?
Well, I've got a quote here in front of me by a gentleman by the name of Peter Drucker, and he answers your question much better than I can in my own words. And he says, unless a commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but no plans. So that in itself tells you that you can have all the plans and, you know, all the promises and all the dreams in the world, but if you don't have that commitment to making that dream, making that goal a reality, then it's nothing more than a hope. It's just a thought, a passing thought. Like, let's say for example, like you were saying, the example of building your business on your own, and you think about it, you hope for it, you dream for it. The only way you're going to get there is by putting in that effort, that commitment in. That's what separates the greats from the average, that commitment.
For me, it was my hifz. It was starting hifz at the age of 11. The first 2 years, you know, I messed around a lot. I didn't take it serious. I only done like two sparas, 2 juz. And then after that, I started to pick it up. And the time where, becoming a hafiz was like, the strongest was when I hit college, when I was literally 16, 17 years old. And that's when I actually started to find more love. I know it might sound bad, but more love towards wanting to become one rather than feeling like, you know, I have to. And that commitment, Adil as well, that commitment I had of waking up at Fajr and learning my sabak, you know, learning my studies, and then, you know, going to college, coming back, learning again, going to mosque, learning again, after mosque, you know, go to work. And that commitment of just like every day, like the Quran is so big, it's so large, and there's so much to learn from. And every day you're doing like 1.5 to 2 pages, and there's so much more left. In that one juz, there's like 28 pages, and you're having that commitment. And sometimes you look at the end, you look at what you have left, but then you look at what you've done so
that
far.
one really messes your mind, isn't it?
You look at what you have left, and you just feel like, you know, I'm doing this every single day for the past how many months, how many years, and I'm still just about getting there. And alhamdulillah, becoming a Hafiz, and anyone out there that wants to become one, regardless of your age, the commitment that you learn, the skills that you learn from that, the perseverance, the consistency of waking up every day, praying, you know, avoiding listening to music and stuff like that, just to make sure your thing is, you know, pakka, as we like to say, and solid. You know, that commitment has helped me to this day, man. Like, in every aspect.
Question: you still do your door?
I still do my door every single day. Alhamdulillah.
You commit to something once and you consistently get into the habit of commitment, you naturally always are committed to anything you do. It becomes a lifestyle and a mindset, and that is what we want everyone to have. A committed lifestyle is so powerful that no matter how hard you try to not be committed, like Mr. S.A. Halfigate, you will still find a way to be committed at something. And that is something that will allow the world to improve. Do you know how we always complain, the world is like this, the world is like that? It's because of these small things we're not adding to our lives. If everyone has these habits, overall, the whole world will change. Imagine everyone was committed at everything they did. Do you think the world would be in a better place? Yes or yes?
Do you know what? Yeah, do you know that question? Yeah, it's a very it's an oxymoron, because everyone's committed at everything they do. That means you're going to be committed at the bad, the evil you do as well. So, committed in the right things. If everyone's committed in the right things, then yes, the world will be a great place to live in.
But as you said,
I dropped the mic and man picked the mic up and gave it back to me.
thing that you do enjoy, regardless of it, you're going to have to put a lot of commitment into it in order to get your results. Like, even for me, like how I say I love what I do and stuff like that. Yes, I do love what I do, but it doesn't mean there's no highs and lows. It doesn't mean there's no stressful days. It doesn't mean that there's going to be times in life where I feel like, you know what, I don't even want to do this anymore. I'm going to change my passion. I'm going to change everything I do. There are days like that, but it's the commitment. You have to look back, like how I was talking about Quran earlier. Like when you're becoming a Hafiz, you're looking at how much you got left, but then you look back at how much you've done. It's that same commitment that keeps you going, and it's that drive, it's that why that we have in life that's going to keep you going regardless of the scenario.
Hey, can we give a round of applause on the radio? I don't know if it's possible. In doing what you don't like. Like, I know everyone talks, do you know, whenever everyone's like, oh, if you don't like it, leave it, there's so much more you can do, explore ideas. No, man. If you don't enjoy something, still stay committed at it, and then pursue, use whatever you have learnt from that to implement in other things. Like,
there's a motto for that, it's called dirt before the clouds.
Yes. Oh, that's powerful, bro. Should only be the truth and nothing but the truth. So my quote, I'm going to say now, is no matter whether you say you can walk on water, or no matter whether you say you can travel faster than the speed of light, if you said that you've done it, you find a way to do it, because that's commitment. So what that really means is, whether it's super, super impossible, so impossible, if you said you're going to do it, you work twice as hard to complete it, because that's your bond, and that's your word, and that's where commitment lies, and that's where it's brought into our life.
One thing I'm going to be committed with, and one piece of advice as well to do with commitment. So to start off with, something that I'm going to be really committed to is Waves of Positivity. So I'm sorry guys, I've taken it, but Waves of Positivity, obviously, it's something that I love doing a lot, because it's a trait, and it's something that we all started together with a common purpose of doing something. Now, the fact that, you know, we came together to do something without even monetization there from the beginning, it's something, you know, alhamdulillah, I love doing it. You know, I travelled, just recently moving to London, I've travelled down here just to this radio station, and on Wednesday we have the Help the Homeless thing. Like, not many people, or honestly not many people, but not every single person would do something for a true vision and belief that we have collectively, alhamdulillah. One piece of advice is, obviously we didn't get to touch upon this subject, but it's to not be too committed. I know some people, there might not be an existence of, or saying that there's no such thing as being too committed, but sometimes I feel like people can mistake commitment with addiction. Like, if you're, how people used to call me a workaholic, you know, working too many hours, if it starts to become bad and you start to drain yourself, you're being overly committed to something that you're missing sleep, you're not going to toilet late, you're only having 2 meals a day instead of 3, you're starving yourself over your work and stuff like that. If you're being so committed that your mental health, your emotional state, your physical state is deteriorating and it's going bad, then you're not committed, you're just addicted to something. And sometimes being addicted to something that's good can turn into something bad. So that would be my advice.
It's something that I've, it's a personal goal of mine that I've really been thinking about for, I'd say, the last couple of months. It started when I was at a talk by a great man in the UK, someone I look up to very much. So, and he posed a question to the audience. He asked, Sully was there, I don't know if he remembers. He asked if this was 10 years or 20 years down the line, and something you've done was to come onto a news article, what would you want that news article to read? And straight away, in that 1 second, I thought of my article. And ever since that moment, I've been like, this is going to be my dream. This is going to be my goal. This is what I want from life. And I'm going to stay committed to it no matter what happens. So just a bit of background, a bit of context. I know I'm going a bit long, but I think the context is quite important because basically I'm a student. I study construction management and property development. That's one of my sort of occupations at the moment in life, and another big one is charity, the charity work I do. So when he posed this question, what would be the title of your article if it was about you? In that instance, it was something to do with a man uses innovative construction methods to build an entire village within days. So I have this vision in my mind that once I get the knowledge, once I get the experience, one day, inshallah, God willing, I will be able to go out and use my expertise, my skills, my knowledge that I've gathered over the next 5-10 years to go out there and really help an entire community by rebuilding them, whether they're affected by natural causes or other disasters, wars, or anything like that. And like genuinely, wallahi, every single day since that day I've been thinking about it, every single day. And that keeps me going. Like, I don't like going to uni, driving all the way to this next level city and studying with all these people. I don't particularly enjoy it, but what keeps me going is my commitment to this goal, to this vision that I have in my mind. T.D. Jakes. And what he said was, you cannot conquer what you are not committed to. So if you're not committed to something, he's basically saying that your chance of being successful in that are almost zero.
I want to be committed to myself in my ambition. So I've got ambition of changing 1 billion lives. I've got ambition of creating a business that allows people, helps millions and billions of people around the world. But in order to do that, I need to be more committed to that goal, and also more committed to making myself the person that can execute that goal. Because at the moment, I've only got the vision, I've got the mindset, but I've not become the person that can do it. Because at the moment, obviously, we're never going to be at our full potential. There's always room to grow. So every day, I want to work on making sure I become the person that can execute that goal. And the advice that I give to every single person out there is be committed to your health, be committed to your mental health, and be committed to your physical health and your spiritual health. All 4 of those things, if you work on them every single day, give yourself goals that you want to execute and get into a habit of creating. It takes 27 days to create a habit. I know they used to say 21, but they're actually extended 27 days to create a habit. And it takes 60 days to create a lifestyle change. Work on one thing for all 4 of those aspects until they become a habit and a lifestyle change. Then make a new one. If you can do that for 30 years, imagine the person you'll become and the vision and the execution you can create for anything you want to do.